Hi you guys, it's Karina. So I am back with another video tutorial on my template 4, like you see right here. I had it requested. I had actually a tutorial on her. I don't know what's going on. I'm just noticing, you guys, that some of my saved highlight stories that I had on Instagram are no longer there. Not too sure what the heck is going on. And I had a tutorial on this one, and when a client asked where she could find that tutorial, well, it was gone. So I told her I am going to make you a video, I promise, just so that way I can have it here on YouTube. I don't know what's going on with Instagram. I've been noticing that for a while now, that sometimes my things are just disappearing. So let's talk about my template 4. So my template 4 has been around for many years now. It's not really a template that I gravitate to, only if I need it for certain, like I have certain sets on my Etsy that require the template. Back in the day, I used to all the time, but now that I'm kind of not really making, I mean, I am still making paper flower sets, but mostly I'm focusing on templates and this and that. I no longer kind of make those sets anymore. So honestly, she's kind of like a forgotten template. But now that I worked with her today, I'm like, gosh, she's so cute. Like, I need to bring her back. So this is my template 4. So when I originally created her, like I said, it was for a backdrop that I had to do. A client a long time ago showed me a backdrop that she really kind of wanted me to kind of kind of replicate, but kind of sort of, you know. And I was like, well, okay, let me see if I can come up with a template, which I did. And it was mostly it was a flat flower, actually, and you can find that tutorial here on my YouTube channel. So then I started playing around with her petals, and then that's when I created this flower right here with this cute center. This center is from Cricut. It's not my own. It is from Cricut. I am going to, in the description below, write the Cricut number, because I am noticing that the Cricut number that I gave out a long time ago on my Instagram under my Cricut centers, well, they decided to change the number on it, and it's not the original number that I gave you guys, that I shared with. So I'm going to write down the number underneath below, because it is called Mum. But when you search for it, before it was, again, easy to search for, I would just type in Mum and it would pop up. But now I did that the other day, and my goodness, there's a lot of Mum images now. So, but if you type in the number that you can find on my YouTube under the description, copy and paste that number, and it should pop right up for you guys, this center, okay? And I am going to show you how to assemble this center. I do use 2 colors, personal preference. You definitely can add another color if you want. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So for today, we're going to be making this 16-inch flower. Now, her petals are pretty large, because back in the day, that's pretty much what I focused on, was large paper flowers. So she is a pretty large template if you want to make large flowers. If you want to make small flowers, it's not, I guess it wouldn't really be it depends, I guess, what you want. I mean, yes, you do get a little cutie, which roughly you can do like a 5-inch, and then the next one kind of somewhere around the 8-inch range, you know, but she's mostly if you want to make large paper flowers. But the nice thing is that if you do purchase my SVG, you can resize her, okay? So if you need smaller petals, you definitely can. There is a video on my YouTube channel sharing you guys how to resize my SVGs. It's a rose template, but pretty much you're gonna follow the same steps. And those steps are: do the measurements that I tell you, follow the directions, get the original measurements, select all, and then shrink them. Okay, and if you watch that video, you're going to be like, okay, I know what she's talking about. And then the petals will shrink down, but stay the same size, I guess, if that makes sense. Because, I mean, oh gosh, how can I explain that better? Does that make sense? Like, they're not, the size of the petal is not going to be all this, you know, all messed up. It's still going to stay the shape of it, but just imagine it shrunk down. I hope that makes sense. So again, so that's the nice thing about the SVG, okay? But she is available in PDF or hard copy, and those can be found on my other template website, www.arielleasedesigns.com. Because remember, not all my templates are on here, on my Etsy. Mostly it's just SVGs, and honestly, it's not all of them, you guys. Hopefully one day I can bring them all to Etsy, but you know, this girl's busy. But they'll be coming. So let's get started. Enough with the chatting. So let's go ahead and make that 16-inch. Super easy. Follow the same steps if you want to make them larger. Okay, smaller, like I said, there's not really that many smaller petals, but again, you have the SVG, shrink it down, and yes, you can. Okay, so we're going to omit these two, and you're not going to use these either. These are for for another specific flower that I like to make, that you can find the tutorial. I just checked. It is available on my Instagram under my saved highlight stories. Just look for template 4. Okay, so we're going to omit those. So then you're going to need the 3rd petal, the 4th petal, and the 5th petal, and we are going to omit the larger ones. You are going to need 5 petals of each. Okay, we're going to put those to the side. Now, because they are larger petals, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're working with 8.5 by 11, you are, well, I used 10 sheets exactly. Okay, the larger petal I was able to trace just once on the 8.5 by 11, so I needed 5 of those, and then the other 5, the smaller 2 petals, I did manage to kind of play with it and was able to fit both of the petals there, so I was able to manage to use only 10 sheets of cardstock. Okay, and I am using 65 pound weight cardstock. This is from Michaels. It's kind of like a minty seaweed mermaid kind of color. So all you're going to do to prep your petals is you're going to grab your petals, grab a wooden dowel. You are going to give them a curl back, okay, just like that. You are going to need scissors. Cut in the center. Then you're going to add a small dot of glue. You will need your glue gun and glue just like that. Let's repeat. Cut, glue. I'm using the Surebonder Linen Lily. Oh, look at that, the colors match. And then just like that. So you will be doing this to all the petals, which I have mine ready to go. So again, 5, 5, and 5. And you are going to start with the largest petal. Let me move my wooden dowel out of the way. And I do need another glue stick. I just placed an order yesterday. If you're wondering, this guys know this is my favorite. If you're a follower of mine, I'm all about the Gorilla glue sticks. I did order them off Amazon, but let me tell you, the price keeps going up on glue sticks. Not so happy about that. But those are the only ones I use. Love them. Okay, start with your largest one. I'm going to add a small little dot of glue. Grab your next petal and glue her. Okay, so remember, just a tiny little dot, because if we have to readjust, you know, it's not going to tear the paper apart tremendously. Okay, so your goal here is to make a pentagon, the shape of it in the center. Not exact, but that's kind of what we are going for. Sorry if I hear, you know what, I'm going to readjust this petal. And then add glue there. And voila. So we have that first layer. Okay, you guys, now that we have that first layer done, so I do have a piece of scrap paper. So this is, as you can tell by this shape, this is from the first petal that we cut. So I am going to cut out a circle right here with the scrap, so that way I'm not having to grab a new sheet of paper. I can just use one of the scraps. Okay, so large enough. Don't worry of it not being perfect. I'm horrible at cutting out circles, just FYI. But the nice thing, it doesn't matter because you won't see it. As long as it's large enough to cover up that hole. So there you go. We have our first layer. So now we are going to get our second layer. Now this is only 3 layers of petals, but definitely if you want to add a 4th layer, you definitely can. Just follow the same steps. I'm gonna grab my wooden dowel because I need to fill this a little bit more over here. So you're just going in between the petals of that first layer. So definitely not a hard template, guys. It's definitely an easy template to work with. Keep spinning it around. Okay, so we are done with that second layer. So now let's go on to our last layer, which is our 3rd layer. So now for these cuties, with the first one, I'm only going to add glue. So if she's facing me, it's the left side. I'm adding a small little dot of glue and then going in between. And continue to go around. Definitely a perfect flower for like backdrops, only because this is a larger template and a wider template. Definitely fills up space, if that makes sense. Because that's exactly what you want for backdrops is, you know, I personally, for me, the larger the better, so I could, and simple, you know what? Nothing too crazy. Yeah. 4. Okay, we are on to our last one. Let me just give her a slight curl. Okay, so remember how we only added glue to the left side because we are going to tuck her underneath this one. Okay, so it's more of a seamless look. And now I'm going to go ahead and add glue to that one side that we did it, and voila, you are all done. So now let's work on that center. So like I said, you are going to need your Cricut machine in order to cut out this template since it is one of their images. And this is what the image pretty much looks like. Now, I did resize it, meaning I made it smaller because I wanted to say it's a tad bit smaller than the original one. So I'm going to write down in the description below the measurements that I did. Now, this is a pretty large center, okay? Let's take a look at her. I mean, she's pretty huge. Like, look at my hand. I mean, she's pretty huge. So obviously, if you want something smaller, then you are just going to have to size her down. Just play around with it. And again, I used 2 different colors, just a personal preference. Obviously, you do not have to. If you want to do just one, you can. I just personally like two colors just because I feel like it makes it look fuller. Just careful when you are lifting her up. Okay, there you go. So I went with a purple lavenderish color. This one is from, let me look at it. Well, actually, this is Michael's. And I want to say that's Michael's. So they're both from Michael's. This is from their purple cardstock. Their purple passion pack, I believe. Yeah, it is. That's what it's called. Purple passion, the lightest purple. And then this pink is from the pink buttons pack, and it's like the second lightest shade in that pack. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is we are going to layer the center first. We are going to glue. Now, do I recommend more than 2? I think you can get away with 3 if you're working with cardstock. If you're working with text weight paper, then I think it's definitely, you can definitely layer this if you wanted to maybe add 3 to 4 colors. Only because, like I said, this is layered. Cardstock can be thick once once you start rolling. And I kind of find it a little difficult to roll with just two, which is why I say stick to 2 or 3 different colors. Okay, but if you're working with text weight paper, and if you're wondering what text weight paper is, honestly, it's comparable to copy paper, printer paper. It's super thin. Then you can definitely add more layers, and I think it'll be easier for you to manage. Okay, so let's get started. Make sure you have something to protect your surface, because I do find that I get glue everywhere. So get your glue gun. We're going to do a couple of steps here. First thing is first, we're going to add glue here to the sides. So just a strip of glue. Careful. Okay. So you're just layering that on top. Okay. So now we're going to add glue to this side. Repeat on the other side. Okay, you want to see? And then just glue that on top. So then pretty much we just have one. Now it looks like center. Okay. Now we are going to fold this over like this. So we're going to have to add more glue. Okay. So I'm going to start with this strip right here. Let the ends meet. Okay. So now we have right here where we need to add glue. And then let's meet those edges. So now this is what we should have. Okay. So now what I like to do is kind of give it a bend. Curl it in. Just gonna help me roll this better. I don't know. At least I think it does. Uh-oh, it came apart right here. And if this happens, just add some more glue. Okay. All right. Let's get started. First thing is first, we're going to go here to the edge, to this point, okay? And sorry if the lighting is on and off. The sun keeps coming in and out. I have my light here, but hopefully the light's not too crazy. Okay, so we are just going to give this a roll. So we are rolling this. See, and this is why I'm telling you, I don't know if more than 2 layers, because once you start rolling, you're going to feel how thick that is. And you want to make sure you add a dot of glue every so often to secure that roll. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if this center was intended to be like this, you know, because sometimes Cricut doesn't really give you explanations. This is the way I just did it, you guys, okay? Just wanted to throw that out there. So as you can see, I'm just adding small little dots of glue as I am rolling her up. And we are towards the end. Okay. And just hold for a couple of seconds. Okay, and this is what you should have. Looks a little funky, but now we are going to separate. All right, you guys. So now what you're going to do is grab the petals. Well, I don't know what you call these strip petals. And then you are going to separate the layers. Okay, because Remember, we have two colors here. I use the purple and a pink, and you just want to separate them. And that's pretty much it, you guys. You're just going to go around, separate these, kind of move things around to your liking. And that's pretty much it. It's definitely a fun center. Definitely gives me bow vibes, like a bow from a present. And this is it. All right, let me finish this up and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, and there you go. So now you're going to get your paper flower, and then you're just going to glue that in the center, just like that. So add your dollop of glue, because you definitely need quite a bit of glue. Turn her around. Play around with it because you want it in kind of in the center. And that's it, you guys. All right, I'm gonna stop because I can totally stay here and play with these strips. But there you go, and you are all done. Isn't she pretty? I love it. It's definitely a fun center. And again, if you want to make the center larger, just make it larger. Now I will tell you, I did use an 8.5 by 11 and it pretty much fit perfectly. So definitely if you wanted the center a little bit larger, then you would have to use 12 by 12 cardstock. Just throwing that out there, okay? So this was pretty much the largest I could do with 8.5, 11. But again, 12 by 12, you can make it larger, but you could also shrink her down if you wanted to make her smaller. Okay, I hope you found this helpful. If you guys have any questions, please either message me. My email, arielleesedesigns@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram or my Etsy. And again, you guys, if there's a certain tutorial flower template that, or tutorial or flower, whatever that you see and you're trying to find the tutorial and you can't, please message me, because every flower that I've released pretty much has a tutorial. But again, now I'm realizing with Instagram, some of them are disappearing. And if that is the case, please message me, and I have no problems whatsoever making a tutorial for you guys. I honestly enjoy these. Plus, I can start adding to my collection to my wall, because you guys know I have a large floral wall backdrop in my office, so I have no issues creating a tutorial for you guys. Okay, so again, this is my template for center from Cricut. Look at the description below. I will have the template link along with the measurements for the center and the item or the image number of the center if you're interested on Cricut. Okay, I will chat with you guys later. Bye.